very pleasant Tuesday evening here in Ghana after long Easter festivities that had many people with power in their homes. Apparently, the power outages have begun again today, and social media is awash with complaints from various individuals. Tonight, though, we are focusing on the big story that occurred before the Easter. The International Monetary Fund announced that they had given Ghana a bailout, and some nearly $1 billion of IMF money was going to flow to support Ghana's balance of payments and to support, hopefully, Ghana's local currency. 144 million of that should be due within Ghanaian international accounts very soon. But what's the story of the IMF bailout, and how did Ghana get to this position? Tonight we'll be talking to one of the architects of the Ghanaian economy ahead of 2008. Dr. Anthony Akoto was the foremost guy who prepared handing over the economic management of Ghana to the NDC team in 2009. We'll ask him what he thinks about the IMF bailout. We'll also ask him that what are the key main epochal things that have occurred in Ghana's economic development since he left office as Minister of Finance. And also, has Ghana come to this point because the MPP's management of the economy probably contributed to the difficulties that Ghana is having right now? So it will be an exclusive interview with Akoto for the full part of the program. He's joined us in the studio. He's also a member of parliament of the New Patriotic Party. However, we begin with Mr. Rashid Boynai, who is here representing the Landowners Association of the Ladade-Kotopon, quote-unquote, disputed lands. A press conference was held last week where landowners were accusing the Ghana Armed Forces of arbitrarily demolishing property on a land parcel that the landowners say does not belong to the Ghana Armed Forces. The Ghana Armed Forces, however, issued a statement indicating that those lands either belong to them or were too close to military installations. So Rashid Boynai has joined us in the studio for the first 10 minutes or so of this program ahead of the interview with Akoto to shed some light on that matter, given that Metro TV situated in Labone is within the same constituency of those disturbances that occurred last week. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
So what was the need for the press conference last week?
We'll have to hurriedly arrange that press conference in response to certain actions being taken by the military in respect to land owned by the East Dadekon Development Trust. And as grantees of the trust with perfect titles, we think it is our right to let the world know that the army has no business interfering with whatever we have.
What's the area of the land that we are talking about here?
The area in question, if you're talking about the trust land, it covers an area amounting to 2,154 acres. Which stretches from the Peshi Lagoon up to the Spintex Road area there.
Oh, this is a parcel of land we're talking about, from Peshi all the way to Spintex.
Right.
So it falls behind Trade Fair kind of thing.
Behind Trade Fair.
I see. Now, is the military contending that all of the 2,000, all the parcel of 2,000 is either their land or is too close to military installations?
The military have been shifting posts. In 2003, they fenced the said 2,154 acres with dogleg poles, claiming that it belonged to the military. Because in 1976, during that Champon regime, there was a proposal for compulsory acquisition.
A proposal?
Yeah, a proposal.
Okay.
Not that there was an acquisition, but there was a proposal for compulsory acquisition of that for the military. So in 2003, whereas we were getting engineers to, do their engineering works on the lands for us to redevelop the area and open it up for development, they came up with a fencing plan to take over the land.
This is 2003?
2003.
I see.
So we took them to court. The Attorney General was sued.
So who is we, the Dadekotopon Land Trust Fund?
Yes, the East Dadekon Development Trust Fund sued the Attorney General and government for that matter. 2005, we had judgment which says that if government have a proposal, if the military wants land and there's a proposal to government that, oh, we want this land, so acquire it for us compulsorily. And government has not acted. Government has not acquired that land. Then the military have no business interfering with our rights to that land.
So that your legal action was successful?
Yes, was successful.
The court said that the land belongs to you?
It said that the land belongs to you.
Until such time that the proposal is accepted?
The proposal had not been accepted by government as we speak today. That proposal that came up in 1976, where Nyashiti Akomfra, the chief of Teshi, had to tell the Nakutu Achampo in their face that, look, if you're looking for land, the land that you want to take belongs to posterity. Where do we live if these people?
Is the land for Teshi or is for La?
What they want to take stretches up to Tribleo. Greater estates.
So La to Teshi.
La to Teshi. That is all that they were looking for.
Okay.
So he asked General Champon to go and do that development on the sea. And for that matter, that acquisition did not see light of day. So we went to court, and by a judgment granted in 2005, the Court of Competent Jurisdiction said that, look, the La people are the owners of the land. Government have by no way taken this land from them. So the military have no business interfering with our rights.
So this 2005?
2005.
Then what happened after that?
So we had our title certificate. Having got that judgment, we proceeded to land title. We had our title certificate covering our land. They came back complaining that, oh, as military, they will need certain portions of the land for some activities of theirs. So they started some negotiations. They said, look, military itself does not acquire land for itself. If you are a military man, all you can do is send your proposal to the military high command to government. And if government has got money to pay, then he can acquire the land. So go and speak to government. You can't be negotiating for land because you are in uniform. There were a series of meetings we had with them in Burma camp itself. And we told them in their face that, look, there's no way we're going to do all these things. Lo and behold, they came out, oh, let's have some 100 feet. We said, okay, we'll establish a green belt. It is our land, but we establish a green belt between our development and the Burma camp itself. So we left some few acres as green belt around our property.
That is to say nobody will occupy that.
Okay. That is to say that we are not going to develop that land, and they equally as well should not build anything.
Okay.
On that land. So farmers could continue growing their okra and other things on that land.
All right.
So we have that green belt thing by our layout. Lo and behold, we woke up one day to see bulldozers on that land.
On the green belt?
On the green belt.
But the people developed the green belt to warrant the bulldozers going there?
No, they were just doing their usual okra growing business.
So the bulldozers went to demolish farms?
They cleared all those farms of our natives with the excuse that Ghana government have got a loan from the Chinese people and they want to build barracks for the military. So look, this land does not belong to you. It doesn't.
So this is the green belt?
Yes.
Not the main land?
Not the main land.
And there was no development yet there?
No development
yet? Infrastructure development apart from farming?
Yes.
And this is what the military sort of demolished?
So they took it and built the Beijing barracks. So as we speak today, what they call the Beijing barracks is not standing on government land. And if we have to take an action to say that, look, this is a trespass.
So the Beijing barracks has been built?
It's been built and occupied by military people.
I see. As residents or offices?
Yeah, as they are residences.
I see.
Right. So further on, thinking that, oh, we've taken this land, the La people are very, very accommodating. They haven't sent us to court. They are not worrying us about these things because we don't want to embarrass government. Because government said, look, we took so much from the Chinese people for this development.
So the Beijing barracks was built on the green belt?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you take us to court, then these foreign donors are going to say that, look, we haven't put our ass together. It's going to be an embarrassment for government. So we bent backwards and said, okay, you go ahead, but let it end there. Having finished with that one, Now, if we got your goat, we'll come for your cow. They came back with an excuse that they want a buffer zone. That international regulation says that civilian institutions should be 1.5 kilometers away from military installations. This led to a series of meetings with the director of logistics, Commodore Asante, his Lieutenant Colonel Asante, and one Colonel Apenkwa. That this is what the international regulation says. So they need, I said, my friend, look, if you're talking about international regulations, look, when the colonial people were acquiring land for military purposes in Accra, we gave them so much. Initially, we have given them cantonments. The present place as we sit in this studio.
Laboni.
Laboni. It's military barracks. If we say cantonments, it means barracks. We gave it out in 1946 for 99 years. They paid only 5 years ground rent out of what, £175 that they ought to pay us. They pay only 5 years. Government is a bad tenant. They are in arrears. Almost 60-something years they haven't paid this money. Today, if government needs land, why should government sell the whole of cantonments? If the military needs land, why should they sit down for all their barracks land? This is the area they call Hausa Regiment. In the colonial times, if they say Hausa Regiment, this is the area. This is where the soldiers are before the world wars and other things. This is where they come then. So 720 acres that was given out, forming the cantonments acquisition, have been sold out to private developers. Which means that government had no use of the land. Because if they have use of the land for the military, they will not.
How does that impact on this matter of 1.5 kilometers?
Yes.
And this is our final
now,
comment.
if you have given out 720 acres for free, now you have given out part of 37 to private investors. You have sold out Legion Village, military thing, right? If you need land, will you sell land before you go and ask for acquisition for more lands?
So this latest matter, the military went on the land and demolished houses.
Demolished houses under the flimsy excuse that they need a buffer zone. Look, they are telling lies. Because we have heard, we have met them several times, and we've pointed out to them that, look, you don't need anything, because if you're talking about civilians...
But people's development has been demolished.
Yes.
So what are you doing about that?
We're taking them to court.
Okay, so you are preparing to file a writ.
We are filing a writ. We're taking the government to court for this business. Because this is an embarrassment.
Until then, should people continue to build? Should they wait?
It is their right to build. Nobody, no competent court of law has stopped our grantees from building on that land.
But they have built, the military has demolished.
Yes, and that is why we have to send them to court. So if the government...
the court process, the last time you went in 2003, it finished in 2005.
Yes.
This one could take longer. What are you doing about it?
This one will not take much long, because we're going to press charges of contempt. Because the first leg is that we've been adjudged the owners. So they have no business interfering with our rights and that of our grantees on the land.
So for the innocent people who have built, who have bought lands from you, who have built and their buildings have now been demolished, what should they do? Should they start building again?
We're going to get valuers onto the land. First and foremost, we're going to make complaints at the various police stations. Then get valuers to assess the damage that the military has caused. Because government has so much money. So it will look unconcerned and let soldiers run amok and destroy things, because government has got money to pay. Right. So we're going to value all the damage that they cause to people's private property, because they have a right to property as citizens.
Yeah, they do.
And once they have a right to property, if I have that right and somebody acting under the guise of government destroys my property, government must pay.
Are you working with the Ministry of Defense on this?
Yes, we've met them several times. Their logistics department. We've told them all these things. We've met them at the Attorney General's office on several occasions. We told them, look, the way you are approaching this matter is wrong. Here you are, government has not indicated that it wants to acquire that land, even if you have put in a proposal. The government of the day have not come out to say that, look, you really need that land. If military needs land, it's parliament that says that military can have the land. Military can only hint Parliament that I want land. As to whether Ghana government will acquire the land for the military, it's not the military high command. For them to issue orders and get their boys there, threatening people because they have arms. These lands that they said they want for military purposes is for their private purposes.
So
when they retire,
not an allegation. It's not just
it is not an allegation. You see, how can you have a land and apportion that land if it is for the army? Fine. Now you have part for Navy. So Navy people will come. We know Navy, they deal with the boats and other things. So they need water more than anything else. They need water more than anything else. Now you're giving Navy officers, not ordinary ranks. If you're IWO, you cannot have a share in that land. It is officers that are about to go on retirement. When they retire, then they are going to be housed around that area. When they retire, are they not civilians? If they retire, are they not civilians?
Once a general, they say always a general.
So a civilian and a general who has retired can still issue orders.
Well, they call them always a general.
It's a mockery.
Anyway, that's okay. So we'll get back onto the story, Rashid. But I think that the people who have bought the land from you have to be helped in whatever circumstances you can.
And that is why we're going to do everything possible, because we are the Alodia owners, and once we have given them land, we owe them the duty. So we'll go every mile with them to make sure government pays for these misdeeds of the military.
Absolutely, Rashid. Thank you very much. And take care. We'll be following the story, and then we'll talk to you again soon. So that was Rashid for the first part of our program. And if you've just joined us, you are watching Good Evening Ghana, a live edition here, coming to you from the studios of Metro TV here in Labone. We'll be talking to Anthony Akotose, Dr. Anthony Akotose, about the IMF bailout in a little bit. We'll be right back.